Before we begin, breathe for a moment, because what you're about to hear isn't just a video. It's a mirror, a quiet reflection of all the ways your mind has been working against you without realizing it. And maybe this will be the moment you finally understand why life feels heavier for you than it does for others. Let's start with the part nobody tells you. Being intelligent doesn't make life easier. More often it makes life harder. Not because smart people are cursed, but because they carry a burden that most people can't see. There's a silent trap highly intelligent people fall into. A trap created not by the world, but by their own minds. They don't trip into it. They build it themselves, thought by thought, expectation by expectation, fear by fear. Intelligent people don't ruin their lives in dramatic, obvious ways. They destroy themselves quietly, subtly, from the inside out. Not with chaos, but with overthinking. Not with recklessness, but with self-imposed expectations they can never live up to. Here's the first trap. Smart people think they should understand everything. They were praised for being gifted, analytical, perceptive. So when something goes wrong, instead of forgiving themselves, they blame themselves even harder. They think they should have predicted the outcome. They should have seen the signs. They should have known better. Every mistake becomes a character flaw. Every failure becomes a personal disappointment. Every setback feels like a betrayal of their potential. Smart people don't fear being wrong. They fear being inadequate. But let's go deeper. Highly intelligent people don't just think more. They feel more. They observe more. They absorb more. And when your mind never slows down, your imagination becomes both your superpower and your suffering. Overthinking becomes your natural state. Sleep becomes negotiation. Peace becomes rare. Smart people begin to analyze everything. Every choice, every relationship, every opportunity. And they convince themselves things won't work out, long before they ever try. So they hesitate. They delay. They get stuck between what they want and what they fear might happen. Their life becomes a waiting room. Smart people aren't held back by ability. They're held back by the complexity of their own thinking. And here's the bitter truth. Smart people expect too much from themselves and too little from life. They think they have time. They think clarity will magically arrive. They think the perfect moment is coming. But life doesn't reward intelligence. Life rewards action. And highly intelligent people rarely feel ready to take action. Let's talk about relationships. Because this is where intelligent people hurt the most. Smart people crave depth, deep conversations, deep connection, deep understanding. Small talk drains them. Shallow bonds confuse them. Superficial relationships feel empty. But the deeper they feel, the more they overthink. And the more they overthink, the harder it becomes to let anyone in. Smart people don't fall in love easily. But when they do, they overanalyze everything. They question their partner. They question themselves. They question the future. They search for patterns, signs, hidden meanings, even when none exist. They don't sabotage relationships intentionally. They sabotage them out of fear. Fear of losing someone. Fear of disappointing someone. Fear of loving so deeply that heartbreak becomes unbearable. So they stay guarded, distant, half present, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. And here's another trap. The loneliness of being mentally ahead. Smart people see life from a height. But when you're too high, it's easy to find yourself alone. You think differently. You process emotions differently. You understand lessons others haven't reached yet. You become the one who comforts everyone, but the one few truly understand. The higher your mind climbs, the fewer people stand beside you, and that loneliness, it becomes a quiet ache. There's another shadow. Smart people are addicted to potential. They dream in vast, cinematic futures. They imagine perfect outcomes again and again. But the dream becomes so ideal that reality never feels good enough. They wait for the right moment, which never arrives. Potential becomes a prison. Smart people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they fear producing something less than perfect. They fear exposing their flaws. So they delay, they hesitate, they stay stuck. Here's the darkest part. Highly intelligent people often feel misunderstood, not because they're superior, but because their mind speaks a language few can follow. They retreat into solitude because solitude never misunderstands them. But solitude turns into isolation, isolation into numbness, and numbness into a lifestyle. This is how intelligent people quietly ruin their own lives. They become prisoners of their minds. But there is hope. A hope that begins not with more thinking, but with action. Your mind is a tool, not your master. Your thoughts are possibilities, not predictions. Your intelligence is a gift, not a burden. The life you want will appear not because you're smart enough to imagine it, but because you're brave enough to step into it. You don't need more intelligence. You need more courage. Courage to be imperfect. Courage to try. Courage to fail. Courage to connect. Courage to be seen as you truly are. The moment you stop letting your mind talk you out of your own life, you'll realize something powerful. You were never behind. You were never lacking. You were never late. You were simply stuck in a trap your intelligence built around you. But now you see it, and awareness is the beginning of freedom. This is your moment to walk out of the maze and finally live the life you've imagined. Your intelligence is powerful, but your courage will change your life. And that is the genius no one can take away from you.